Hey guys, welcome to Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. I'm here with Mark, who's looking at the phone because he's going to be asking me questions. So we were here a couple weeks ago, right in this spot, except I had a much cuter, prettier little girl sitting next to me.
Well, I ain't no little girl, that's for sure.
And it was Virginia, who was here from Tennessee. She's 21. She was visiting with her husband and son, and we did a video answering questions about, well...
Did you mention she's your daughter? Our daughter?
Our daughter.
Oh.
I don't know.
And our grandson.
Yes.
Justice. Adorable pants.
Anyway, we are doing... Mark is here because he's going to ask me questions that were asked on that video because we said we'd do a second video. But they were only here for 5 days and we only had so much time. So we told you leave the comments. I'm doing mine here, the answers to these questions, and she's going to answer the same questions on This Blessed Life is her YouTube channel, and we will put the videos up at the same time. So if you're watching this one and you want to see her answers, go over to her channel and check her out. Make sure you like and subscribe to her channel because we're trying to help her grow. I mean, if you haven't liked and subscribed to us, you can do that too. Okay, first question. I'm starting at the bottom of the list. Yes. Someone asked, do you blanket train? And that needs to be a video all by itself because I do blanket train, and I do sometimes. I do it with, have done it with different babies in different circumstances. I am actually planning to do it with Elisha, but I don't do it in an abusive way, which some people have come to think that the term blanket training means you abuse your children. The way that I first heard it was described by Michelle Duggar, and the way that she explained it in the one that I read, it was not abusive at all. It is the way that I do it. And so I don't know who you've read. I don't know who has changed whose words and all of that stuff. But what I heard Michelle Duggar say was not abusive, and I do it, and I will explain that all in another video. So come back at another time.
Some of these we've answered, but I don't know if you want to answer them.
I can answer them out loud.
Yeah. What laws in Maine do you object to or find troublesome?
Oh, that's a good one.
You know.
Okay, so vaccines. Vaccines are mandated for anyone who is in public school or private school or a public daycare.
Or works at a
hospital. There's lots of different, if I wanted to send my kids to the vocational school to learn a trade like carpentry, they would have to have their full round of vaccines, whatever the CDC suggests. Yeah. And if that changes next week, that the CDC decides to put the COVID vaccine on that recommended one, then I would have to do that too, or my kids could not go there.
Get in line.
Even Virginia, wanting to take a college class because she was not fully vaccinated, could not take even an online college class in the state of Maine because it was a public school. Yeah. And that applies to private schools too. So far, it does not affect homeschoolers, but if it were to affect homeschoolers, that would be a problem. I am not against parents who vaccinate their children on a delayed schedule, fully vaccinate their children, anything like that. I am against the state telling you what you need to do with your child's body. I think that every parent should walk into a doctor's office I think every parent should go to a doctor's office with knowledge before they go. Like, I think you should study these things out. When you are going to go to the hospital to have a baby, you should study out the things that they are going to do to the baby and decide whether this is something you want or don't want. And I don't care which way you pick on those, but you should make an informed decision. And when you say, no, I don't want that, no is a complete sentence, and they should leave you alone at that point.
Yep.
So that's where I stand on that one. Maine has good homeschooling laws right now, but we are a very Democrat-led state that would like to see all children be indoctrinated by the public school. And I'm not okay with them telling parents what they need to do. And there's actually a parental rights bill going through right now.
Which we wrote in support of.
Yes, which they are saying, like, the bill that's going through right now is saying that parents should have full rights over their child unless there is abuse or neglect. But our state also is, the other part of our state is trying to say that Maine should be a safe state. Is that what's called, or something? Sanctuary state, where if you have a child in Ohio who decides that they're a girl who wants to be a boy, they should be able to come to Maine without their parents' knowledge and have any surgery they want.
And Maine Care will probably pay for it.
And so I do not agree with that. It doesn't even have to be whether I agree with the ideology behind it or not. It has to do with, I think a parent has rights over their child and should be part of their child's healthcare team.
Yep.
So that's where I stand on those things. Are there other things that we disapprove of right now? We're just very Democrat-led,
Well,
so...
if you've seen our other videos, you'd see that we're trying to actually abolish abortion in Maine. Like, we have a bill in. It is getting ready to go to the Judiciary Committee soon, hopefully. So that's where we stand on those things. We're going to go on to a different question now, because I feel like we just did a video on that. So.
Yeah.
How do you deal with children being jealous of other children, specifically a 10-year-old being jealous of a 6-year-old who is the youngest? This causes the older one to always be mean to the younger, and it breaks my heart to watch.
So I guess it depends. Why is your child jealous of the other one? As a family, we work as a team. And so when a new baby comes into the house, the older kids are excited about that. And it's another person in our family. And so our kids have never been jealous of the baby. We have had children who have maybe wanted mommy's lap when the baby is on mommy's lap. And so we make sure that there is plenty of time where other people are holding the new baby so that mommy can snuggle the next one up, or one of the other kids that really needs mommy time. But we don't have kids that are actually upset at the child. So I guess it depends. Why are they upset? In this situation, I do not know this person at all. Is the 6-year-old being babied in such a way that the 10-year-old wants that attention that is being given to the 6-year-old? But maybe there's also a reason why the 6-year-old is getting extra attention. In our home, we have a 12-year-old who has seizures, and there are days that he needs special attention from mommy, and the other kids have had to be told, this is what mommy needs to do today. But I also make sure that on the days that that's not what it is, that I'm really pouring into the other kids. So they're not feeling that he's taking all my time away all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think every child needs to understand that there are times that one person in the family is more needy than another. If like daddy's sick, when Naomi had surgery, yeah. Naomi recently had her eye surgery. She had her knee surgery. I don't know what I'm talking about. Naomi had knee surgery. Mm-hmm. She is 17. She does not usually need help at all. But she slept in mommy and daddy's room. Mm-hmm. By the way, this is mommy and daddy's room. This is a twin bed in our room. Yeah. And for the first 2 nights, we had her sleep in here just so we could help her get up if she needed to get to the bathroom. So she's down the hall, and I wouldn't have hurt her if she fell. That was why that happened. That's not our normal, but the kids all knew that she needed extra attention, and I get the kids involved in helping that person get extra attention. So if Naomi needed a drink, I would be like, hey, Naomi needs something. Who's going to go help? And make it like a fun, exciting thing that they get to help
someone. I get to be normally she's the big sister who's always helping them with something.
Yeah.
They get to be a help to her.
Right.
And they enjoy that.
So I guess I also think that really as a family trying to rejoice with those who rejoice, and mourn with those, like that idea that I'm not upset at someone in my family because they got something I didn't get. Like we don't do birthdays, but like if it was someone's, we do birthdays. We do birthdays, we do meals. We don't do the big We don't do like big gift giving. So if they get their one gift from grandma that they get, we expect everyone else to, hey, look, that's so cool. Isn't that neat? Not a, well, why didn't I get a gift? Well, because that person had a special day and they got their thing. Yeah. I think it goes along with our competitive mindset that we just have in this world that I need to be number one. I need people focused on me. And I think that when you focus on the family instead of the individual, you'll have less of that jealousy. But I don't know this certain case, so that's the best advice I can give.
We have worked at that family culture for a lot of years, very diligently. So it doesn't happen overnight. So sometimes it is, even though you're working towards something, it's still a lot of challenging years in the middle.
But I would say focusing on the family as a group instead of individual people.
And don't give up. Like, don't just assume that because they're having a rough spot in their relationship right now that's going to perpetuate forever.
Right.
Work towards reconciliation, build the relationship, and a lot of times they work themselves.
Yeah, encourage them to spend time together.
Totally.
Because 6 and 10 are very different in like their abilities and things like that. And so encourage the 10-year-old to play games with the little one. Encourage the little one to sit alongside and, you know, have the older one read them a book. Doing things.
Or with Malachi, I was thinking Malachi and Abigail are 5 and 9.
Yeah.
She's almost 10, but having him read a book to her, which is fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, rejoicing with them and just enjoying watching them learn. And, you know, I think we all want to kind of be able to help people and teach people and invest in people. I think the world fights against that, but I think, anyhow.
Yeah, encouraging the two of them to spend time together, even if that's within the family, like everybody sitting down and playing a game, but encouraging the time together.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Well, okay, this is kind of open. There's a lot in here. Preparation for marriage is a great mother-daughter subject. I know you teach your daughters to cook and clean, homeschool, garden, and make from scratch, and about modesty. Can you discuss those things? It says harder to see that mothers teach daughters. I'm assuming that's maybe a typo. Can you discuss those things?
Yeah, the things that they don't see.
That mothers should teach daughters, but maybe
I think a lot of it is to just talk in such an open way that you're normalizing what you want your kids to be doing. So like in our household, because we still have little ones, I don't need to talk with my girls about breastfeeding because they just see me breastfeeding every day. I don't have to talk to them about moms being home with their kids and the importance of that because we do it every day. I do use examples because we are together all the time. If we are with somebody who is regularly taking their kids to daycare or something, I may point out to the girls like, so this, you know, we're seeing this as an example, and I want you to know that this is not normal, like biblical. It talks about women being with their children. Nursing moms being with their nursing babies is talked about in the Bible. And so talking about those things in the same way that I would talk about how we believe that, you know, homosexuality is wrong. Not in a, ooh, look at that awful person over there. But we believe marriage is between a husband and wife. And we still love people who do things differently than us. We homeschool. We still love people who send their kids to public school. But I'll explain why we homeschool and the time that it gives me to be with our kids and those types of things. It's not in a judgmental, you should hate this person because they do it different. But this is why we do what we do in that situation. Yeah.
So there's a difference between whether you homeschool or not and homosexuality. Because one's
right.
sin,
Right. Well, I was trying to explain both things. Like whether it's because pointing out the liar or the murderer or the whatever, or pointing out this person bottle feeds and I breastfeed, which yes, I'm not saying that those two things are the same. Sorry if that came across that way.
I know what you meant, but people don't know.
I'm saying normalizing the things in the same way. We have the conversation about the liar who's always lying to the family and how you have to guard yourself against that. And we have the conversation of it looks normal in society for moms to need a break away from their children. But here's why I feel that I need to push past that, because God has given me the fruit of the spirits of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And so I need to exhibit those things to my children instead of saying, would you get out of my hair? I'm going to go have a glass of wine because I can't deal with you guys. Because that's very much society now is I can get through my day with my kids as long as I have enough alcohol.
I can't tell you how many of those things that we've heard. You know, I need a glass of wine to get away from my kids and get away from my kids. Like it's not. I need some time to myself. My children annoy me, kind of.
Right.
The way it's stated.
That child, he's not annoying.
You're not annoying.
You're just loud right now. Come here.
Loud.
You need a mama? I was taking a break from my child in the fact that he doesn't want to sit here on my lap because he wants to be down on the floor.
So he was taking a break from
me. We would be playing.
He was taking a break from me. Yes.
So this is still in the same person's comment, but they asked about budgeting, stretching money in very hard times, submission to your husband. Like, are those things that you want to do videos about?
Yeah, maybe I should do a separate video on how we teach these things to the kids, but a very basic with the money thing is we are very open with our children about our finances. Like, not necessarily our 5, 7, and 9-year-old. But we are very careful that we don't say we don't have money for that. We try not to make the children worry about the money that might be coming into the household. But we also make them know that we are not choosing to use our money right now for that. Oh, we will be back in a minute. Okay, so we are back. That was my mom calling. And so I think we're very careful to not tell the kids that we don't have certain things for finances, just that we're choosing to use our money differently because we don't want to scare the little kids. It is not their responsibility to be worried about the home and what finances we have coming in, or wondering, do I have to, should I give my parents some of my savings? Like, I've heard
teach
stories
them
of that.
things about like how to budget for food and obviously
stuff
like that. So we teach them the skills, but we don't.
Right. And like we try to reiterate, like when we're doing a challenge right now where I'm cooking for $30 and I'm trying to save money each day. And I'm telling them, like, we're not doing this because we don't have food. And they know, they see the food here around the house. But I also think telling stories of God's faithfulness is really important too, because we've been in times where we had to decide whether we were going to buy food or buy gas. And God has always been faithful and we've never gone hungry. And we've always been able to do the things that God has wanted of us, not necessarily the things we want to do, but the things that God has wanted us to do. We've always had the money to do those. And so I think that's one thing we lack in our generation, is telling those stories. If you read the Bible, it talks about putting up pillars to, like, as reminders, altars and things to remind us to tell the story of what happened there. And I think as a family, we talk regularly about things God has done in our lives. And so teaching our kids that God is faithful, but in response, we should be faithful. Not that it relies on our faithfulness to God to be faithful to us, not that in any way. But because he is faithful, we want to be faithful also. So, what?
What do you need?
What? Another one? Yes, you can listen to another one. If you've watched any of our videos, you know this is how it goes at night. They come in and ask what they can listen to.
Yep.
So we can try to do another video on that.
Yep.
We'll see when that comes up.
Another question.
Yeah. We miss Virginia, if anyone wonders.
We're happy for them. Like, I'm thankful for their life down there and their church and everything they have down there. But you still miss them. Not in a way like, I'm so sad I can't live without them, but like, yeah.
It's really good to spend time with them when we have it.
We love them and we appreciate them whenever we can have them. So they know that you never surprise Daddy with anything. Like, if you're coming to visit my house, call me beforehand. Don't show up. I just struggle with being surprised, not knowing what's going on. I make plans in my head and then I get messed up anyhow. That being said, but I gave them blanket permission. Like, you can always just surprise me like you did a couple weeks ago.
And it was great.
It was wonderful. Yeah.
Okay, you got another question?
Maybe somewhere in my meandering. I love hearing the answer from your daughter about creating a reciprocating relationship with your children, where it's not just the mother being a slave to the kids all the time, or is not all about the mom being the center of attention, being staged around to everything. It's having that back and forth conversation like a friendship. Your interests, then my interests, then business, and then fun times. I have a 13-year-old, 12, and 8-year-old right now. I am in parent teaching mode. How do I transition into letting go of the reins more, and instead of lecturing, develop that friendship where they feel respected and trusted and want to prove trustworthy? Sorry, I'm going to put that down.
We have a baby who keeps trying to get the tripod. He might move the camera as they try to get him, because he's...
Remember. Come here. Give me that.
Okay, so how do you change that? He does not necessarily want to be here or there or whatever. Okay, so how do you change that relationship? I think that starting now with your kids' ages is a great time to start. And I think giving them more choices. So would you rather do your math first or your science first? Would you rather, like, I'm not saying every choice all the time. Would you rather have pizza tonight or spaghetti tonight? We need to go to the store. Do you want to go or do you want to stay here if that's something that happens in your household? We regularly travel together as a family, but we do have occasionally where I have to run to the store and we have a sleeping baby, but I have to go just get milk. Does anyone want to come with me? On Saturdays, we have a dump run. And so usually Naomi takes daddy to the dump and a couple kids follow along. So giving them those options. I think also just doing life together that's more than school. Asking them, hey, do you want to come in the kitchen and cut vegetables with me? Hey, do you want to help me collect the laundry and we'll get some laundry folded? Just those things, like actually just spending time together. Hey, would you like to watch a show tonight? What do you want to watch? I don't have a special tip on how to change that because it just, for our family, it just kind of morphs into that part of the relationship as they get older. Samuel is now considered one of the older kids, and we don't have a specific age on that, but it's one of those when Virginia and Naomi were home, they were the older kids. And so when the little kids went to bed, the older kids got to stay up. And that was when we really had our like deeper discussions. And then Virginia left and Samuel's part of that older crowd. It's not necessarily going to be when the older one leaves. That's just how it happened this time. And during that time, we just find out more about them by playing games and watching movies and goofing around and doing videos together. So I don't think I have a specific, like, how to do that transition, just to make opportunities for them to spend time with you that's not you just forcing them into doing things. I also think that sometimes as moms, we tend to really be strict on how something should be done. And we talk about this a lot in our family. Dishes getting washed, the purpose of washing dishes is to have clean dishes at the end of the day. So if you're washing dishes and the dishes are not getting consistently clean, you are doing it wrong. I'm not saying a dish, like I think everybody has trouble once in a while with like getting a dish clean if something's really greasy or whatever. But I'm saying if consistently dishes are not getting clean, dishes are being done wrong. But if your child fills the sink with water and then washes the dishes, or you tend to fill a bowl with water and then wash the dishes, neither of those is wrong. And I think as a mom, we can come down too hard and we can be like, no, you're doing the dishes wrong, when it's just preference. So I think making sure that you let your children kind of develop their own way of doing things. Again, there are like the task at hand needs to get the job done. But it doesn't necessarily have to be done your way. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I'm trying to share. I think that was the end of the questions. So I feel I answered all the questions. If you have more questions, if I did not clearly answer your question, if one of my answers made you have more questions, write them down below. I'm going to put this on Virginia. Like Virginia and I are going to post these at the same time. You go listen to her and give her questions, give me questions. We'll do another video set like this in the future. And so thank you for joining us on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God.